The Pacific Ocean is a lie. If you look at a map in May 2026, it looks like a blue void, thousands of miles of nothing between California and the Chinese coast. But if you could see the electromagnetic spectrum, that void would look like a jagged, neon nightmare. It's a hurricane of high-wattage radar pings, encrypted quantum data links, and the thermal signatures of machines that officially don't exist. For nearly a century, we've measured air dominance by the ace. We've romanticized the man in the cockpit, the hero with the silk scarf, the pilot with the right stuff. But as we sit here today, the ace has become a forensic anomaly. In the high-speed, high-lethality environment of 2026, the human brain is simply a bottleneck. It's a fluid-filled biological processor trying to survive in a world of silicon speed deletion. On one side of this vacuum, we have the Chengdu J-36. It is a machine that breaks every rule in the Western textbook, a 55-ton Trijet Airborne Battleship designed to turn the South China Sea into an impenetrable fortress. On the other, we have the Boeing F-47 Phoenix. It is the $20 billion eraser, a machine built not to dogfight the battleship, but to delete the very logic that allows it to fly. This isn't a versus video. This is a clinical autopsy of a collision between two radical ideologies. It is the Eastern philosophy of raw power versus the Western philosophy of algorithmic deletion. I'm James. This is the Hidden Muster. Today, we start the cut. Let's put the Challenger on the slab. To the casual observer, the J-36 looks like an engineering mistake. It is massive, it is heavy, and most importantly, it has 3 engines. In a world where the West moved towards single-engine efficiency or twin-engine redundancy, China looked at the 2026 theater and decided they needed a third heart. To understand the J-36, you have to understand the Chinese doctrine of A2AD, anti-access area denial. For decades, Beijing's obsession has been keeping the U.S. Navy and Air Force far enough away from their coast that they can't intervene. The J-20 was the first step. The J-36 is the endgame. The engineering logic of the third engine. The first question every forensic analyst asks, why 3? In 20th century logic, a third engine is a weight penalty. It's more fuel, more maintenance, and more heat. But modern 6th-generation warfare is an electricity-hungry business. You aren't just powering a flight computer, you are powering smart skin antennas that cover 80% of the airframe. You are powering high-energy liquid-state lasers for terminal missile defense. You are powering a gallium nitride AESA radar suite that generates enough heat to melt a standard airframe. The J-36 uses 2 primary Shenyang WS-15 engines for raw thrust, but that third center-mounted engine, that is a dedicated power plant. By integrating a third engine, Chengdu ensured that even at Mach 2.2, the J-36 has the electrical juice to burn through American jamming. It's a flying power station. It allows the J-36 to act as a high-altitude sensor hub, radiating so much energy that it can see through traditional stealth by simply overwhelming the environment with wattage. In the forensics of 2026, the J-36 doesn't just scan the sky, it illuminates it. Next, look at the skin. The J-36 uses a diamond delta wing with absolutely no vertical surfaces, no tails, no rudders. From a radar perspective, vertical tails are a disaster. They are specular reflectors. If a radar beam hits a tail at 90-degree angle, it's like a mirror flash on the screen. By deleting the tails, China has created a 55-ton ghost. But here's the gritty reality. A 55-ton plane with no tail is aerodynamically dead. It wants to flip, tumble, and disintegrate every millisecond it's in the air. The J-36 only stays in the air because its flight computer is performing over 1,000 micro-adjustments per second using fluidic thrust vectoring. It doesn't fly in the traditional sense. It negotiates with the atmosphere. The J-36 is the centerpiece of what Beijing calls system-centric warfare. It isn't a fighter in the way we think of the F-16 or even the Raptor. It's a command node. It is an airborne battleship. The deep magazine. Because of its massive size and that third engine's power, the J-36 has a deep magazine. Its internal weapon bays are cavernous. In May 2026, forensic intel suggests it's designed to carry the PL-21, an ultra-long-range missile with a 400-kilometer reach. The J-36 doesn't want to get into a knife fight. It doesn't care about its turn radius. Its goal is to sit 300 miles away, protected by its own massive EW suite, and delete tankers, AWACS, and transport planes before they even cross the horizon. It is designed to blind the U.S. Air Force by killing the support structure that keeps American jets in the air. The Smart Skin Array. We also have to talk about the Smart Skin. The J-36 doesn't have a single radar in the nose. Instead, it has thousands of tiny TRM/R modules embedded across its entire surface. This gives it a 360-degree spherical coverage. In the 2026 muster files, we see that the J-36 can look behind it as easily as it looks forward. It turns the entire aircraft into one giant eyeball. If you're flying within 200 miles of a J-36, it knows your altitude, your heading, and your engine's thermal signature, even if you're flying a stealth platform. The forensic verdict number 1. The J-36 is a beast of raw industrial-age power. It is China's statement that they have moved past copying into overpowering. It is a machine built to dominate the Pacific through sheer scale and radiated energy. It is the ultimate expression of the battleship mentality. But as we are about to see in Part 2, being the biggest, loudest, and most powerful bird in the sky makes you a very high priority target for a hunter that doesn't play by the rules. A hunter that cost $20 billion. A hunter that was designed to be an eraser. We've looked at the battleship. We've seen the 3 engines, the diamond wing, and the 55-ton footprint of Chinese regional denial. It is a terrifying machine. On paper, it is the king of the Pacific. But now we have to wipe the slab clean. Because while China was building a battleship, the US was building a ghost. In our next movement, we are going to perform a surgical autopsy on the Boeing F-47 Phoenix. We're going to look at the XA-103 adaptive heart, the broadband stealth that makes the J-36's radar useless, and the hive of autonomous drones that act as the F-47's eyes and fists. The J-36 thinks it's the hunter. In Part 2, we're going to show you why it's actually the prey. Wipe the slab clean. Look at the silhouette currently sitting under the security lights at Plant 42 in Palmdale. If the J-36 is a statement of industrial power, the F-47 Phoenix is a statement of scientific deletion. In the May 2026 defense budget, the Phoenix program carries a price tag that makes even seasoned generals flinch. $20 billion in development and nearly $200 million per airframe. To the critics, it's a fiscal disaster. To the forensic analyst, it's the cost of winning a war without ever being seen. You have to understand, you aren't paying $20 billion for a fighter jet. You are paying for a system of systems. In the 20th century, we built planes. In the 21st, we built platforms. In 2026, we are building nodes. The F-47 is the primary node in a global web of sensors, satellites, and autonomous killers. It is the brain that justifies the cost. While the J-36 relies on raw Trijet power to burn through the dark, the Phoenix relies on the most expensive silence ever bought. Let's look at the skin. The F-22 Raptor was a masterpiece of stealth, but it was band limited. It was designed to hide from enemy X-band fire control radars, the kind used by enemy jets to lock onto you. But by 2024, the world had changed. Low-frequency quantum radars and VHF arrays started popping up across the Pacific, capable of seeing the tail fins of the Raptor like a lighthouse in a fog. The F-47 Phoenix was built to solve the tail problem by simply not having one. Tailless geometry. The Phoenix is a tailless flying wing. It is a smooth, continuous curve of carbon fiber and titanium. There are no vertical stabilizers, no rudders, no sharp 90-degree joins. From a radar perspective, there's nowhere for a wave to catch. But the real magic is the metamaterial smart skin. In the 2026 muster forensics, we've learned that the Phoenix's skin isn't just paint, it's an active layer. It's composed of microscopic 3D printed structures that don't just absorb radar waves, they refract them. They bend the electromagnetic energy around the airframe and out the other side. In the infrared spectrum, the J-36 is a bonfire because of its 3 engines. The Phoenix? It uses internal heat sink technology. It pumps the heat from its engine into its own fuel load, using the cold JP-10 as a thermal sponge. To an IRST sensor, the F-47 doesn't look like a jet. It looks like a slight thermal glitch in the atmosphere. It is the first truly broadband ghost. Now we cut deeper into the engine bay. The J-36 uses 3 engines because it needs the raw wattage. The Phoenix uses only 1 engine because it is a mechanical genius. This is the Pratt & Whitney XA103 adaptive cycle engine. The third stream. Every jet engine in history has been a compromise. You either have a turbojet, fast, loud, hungry, or a turbofan, efficient, slow, cool. The XA103 is both. It features a third stream of air that the flight computer can open or close, like a lung. When the Phoenix needs to dash to an intercept at Mach 2.2, it chokes the third stream and acts like a screaming turbojet. But when it gets to the combat zone, it opens that stream, increases its bypass ratio, and becomes a high-efficiency loiterer. The currency of range. In the forensics of a Pacific war, range is the only currency. The J-36 has a massive internal fuel load, but its 3 engines drink it like a desert. The F-47, with its adaptive heart, boasts a combat radius of over 1,200 nautical miles without external tanks. It can fly from Guam, sit over the target for 2 hours, and fly back, all while staying completely invisible to the tankers that the J-36 would be hunting. The XA-103 isn't just an engine, it's a logistical weapon. It allows the U.S. to operate from the deep Pacific, outside the reach of China's regional denial missiles. The brain, the mothership, and the hive. This is the most critical part of the 2026 autopsy. We have to talk about the quarterback. If you look inside the cockpit of an F-47, you won't see a pilot in the traditional sense. You'll see a mission commander. There are no dials, no HUD. The commander wears a neural-linked helmet that projects a 360-degree augmented reality of the entire theater. But the commander isn't flying alone. The F-47 is a mothership. The CCA Hive, YFQ-42A and YFQ-44A. Attached to the Phoenix, digitally if not physically, is a hive of collaborative combat aircraft, specifically the YFQ-42A Vanguard and the YFQ-44A Scythe. These are autonomous, high-performance drones that act as the Phoenix's fists. The logic is simple but brutal. The Phoenix sits 100 miles back, silent and dark.
It sends its drones forward. The drones turn on their radars, shouting to the sky to force the J-36 battleships to reveal themselves. If a drone is shot down, it's a $15 million piece of hardware. The mothership stays safe. Sensor Fusion 2.0. The Phoenix uses algorithmic optimization to pool the data from its drones. It doesn't just see a target, it sees a probability matrix. It identifies the J-36 electronic fingerprint, the specific frequency of its 3-engine power plant, and builds a 3D model of the battlefield that the Chinese pilots don't even know exists. The J-36 is fighting a war of seeing. The Phoenix is fighting a war of knowing. We've dissected the eraser. We've seen the $20 billion architecture, the tailless broadband stealth, the adaptive XA-103 engine, and the terrifying drone swarm logic of the mothership. The forensic conclusion of Part 2 is this: the F-47 Phoenix is the end of the fighter. It is a mobile, invisible command and control center that treats dogfighting as a failure of planning. It doesn't want to outturn the J-36. It wants to make sure the J-36 never even realizes it's in a fight. But theory is one thing, steel on steel is another. The battleship is heavy, powerful, and armed to the teeth. The eraser is silent, expensive, and surrounded by a hive of ghosts. In Part 3, we are going to smash them together. We're going to reconstruct the May 2026 collision. We're going to see what happens when the 55-ton Trijet meets the $20 billion swarm. We're going to find out if raw power can kill a ghost, or if the ghost has already won the war before it even started.
The theory ends here. The steel begins. To understand why the F-47 Phoenix deletes the J-36, we have to stop looking at them as airplanes and start looking at them as mathematical probabilities. In the muster files for May 2026, we've reconstructed a high-fidelity engagement over the Philippine Sea. This isn't a movie script. This is a forensic projection based on the sensor-to-shooter timelines we've seen in recent black-budget exercises. The setting, 1,200 miles east of the coast. A flight of 2 Chengdu J-36s is on a long-range persistence patrol. They are operating at 60,000 feet. Their 3 engines are humming, providing a massive surplus of electrical power to their side-scanning GaN gallium nitride radar arrays. To the Chinese pilots, they are invincible. They are radiating enough energy to see a bird at 200 miles. They are the battleships of the sky, and they believe they own the horizon. The J-36s close the distance. They prepare to launch their PL-21 missiles at the Vanguard drone. But in the forensics of 2026, the moment you commit to a target, you've already lost the battle of information parity. The off-axis strike. The F-47 Phoenix is sitting 40 miles off-axis from the drones. It uses a laser link, an unjammable, invisible beam of light, to talk to a second drone, a YFQ-44A Scythe. This drone is positioned behind the J-36s. The Scythe drone launches 2 AIM-260 JATMs, Joint Advanced Tactical Missiles. These missiles don't come from the front. They don't come from the Phoenix. They come from a blind spot created by the J-36's own forward-facing radar focus. The thermodynamic failure. The J-36 pilot finally gets a missile approach warning. He engages his Trijet's maximum thrust to attempt a high-G defensive break. But here is the forensic gotcha.
Those three engines, running at max afterburner, create a massive thermal signature that the AIM-260's multispectral seeker can't be fooled by flares. The J-36 is a thermodynamic beacon. In its attempt to use power to escape, it has only made itself easier to kill. The first J-36 is deleted. No dogfight, no radio chatter, just a $180 million airframe turning into a cloud of titanium confetti. The second J-36 pilot, realizing he's fighting an invisible hive, attempts to flee. But the Phoenix pilot has already handshaked the targeting data to a nearby U.S. Navy destroyer 200 miles away. A second missile, launched from the sea but guided by the F-47's brain, ends the engagement. The F-47 never fired a shot. It never turned on its radar. It never revealed its position. It simply managed the deletion. Why did we spend $20 billion to build a ghost that doesn't even want to fight its own battles? The answer is found in the forensics of attrition. Fragility versus durability. The J-36 is a masterpiece of peak industrial engineering, but it is fragile. Maintaining 3 WS-15 engines in a high-salt, high-humidity Pacific environment is an astronomical task. After 5 sorties, a J-36's stealth coatings are degraded by the immense heat of its own power plants. Its mission-ready rate in a real war would be less than 40%. The F-47 is built for persistent dominance. By offloading the kinetic risk to the drones, the F-47 can stay in the air for weeks at a time, rotating the drones back to base for refueling while the mothership remains on station. The F-47 is an industrial asset. It is designed to be the one thing that doesn't break because the $20 billion was spent on making it the most durable, reliable sensor node in history. The death of the battleship concept. In 1941, the era of the big gun battleship died because a cheaper, faster system, the carrier aircraft, could strike it from where it couldn't fight back. In 2026, the J-36 is the Yamato of the sky. It's big, it's powerful, and it's beautiful, but it is a singular target in a world of distributed lethality. The F-47 Phoenix is the carrier. It doesn't matter how powerful the J-36's guns, its radar and missiles are, because the Phoenix strikes from the digital beyond. The autopsy is over. The results are in. The Chengdu J-36 is the greatest fighter jet the 20th century never saw. It is a triumph of raw power, Trijet engineering, and regional denial logic. It is a machine that demands respect, and in a one-on-one fight against a Raptor or an F-35, it might actually win. But it isn't fighting a jet, it's fighting an eraser. The Boeing F-47 Phoenix is the $20 billion realization that the ace is no longer the king of the sky. The algorithm is the king. The hive is the king. The ability to exist in the silent gap between enemy radar pings is the only thing that matters in May 2026. The J-36 is already hunted because China built a machine to win a fight that the U.S. is already stopping to show up to. The F-47 isn't there to fight you. It's there to make sure you never even get to take the safety off your missiles. This is Jane's for the Hidden Muster. We looked at the battleship. We've seen it sink in the digital tide. The Pacific is a vacuum once again, and the only thing left in it is a ghost. Keep your eyes on the horizon. If you see something, it's probably already too late. Muster out.